All right, family, I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. And like we say every week on here, nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. And I'm so excited to get into this week. We're going to talk about the fact that no one wants to work. We're going to discuss work ethic. But before we jump into that, if you haven't already, make sure to go over to hardworknoexcusesapparel.com. Use code DO WORK and you will get 20% off your purchase. Okay. Again, hardworknoexcusesapparel.com. Motivation on your chest. I always wear mine on my chest. Hard work, no excuses. The block edition on today. So use code to work and you will get 20% off. All right, fam. Let's get into it today. So I'm super excited to talk about this because people. Look, I'm just going to say what it is. I'm just going to tell you what it is. No one wants to work. Now, everybody was complaining at one point that we needed to do things. We needed to raise the minimum wage, right? And I agree. We can raise the minimum wage, which we did in New Jersey. It's gone up every year since the pandemic. It was mandatory. It goes up every year since the pandemic. But I think what people are missing here is this. When we raise the minimum wage, everything else has to go up around it, right? Because that goes into operational costs in terms of a business, right? That goes into my operational costs. So that means everything else goes up. That means membership goes up or whatever it is. If you're working at McDonald's, you raise minimum wage, maybe the price of those fries go up, depending on how much of the cost the company can offset. Hear you. But this is the thing. We got to a point where, especially during the pandemic, right? A lot of people could not go to work. The government was giving, rightfully so, they were getting unemployment, which you earn that. If you work, you earn your unemployment. That's not an issue. Then we started giving out bonuses. So it was like unemployment plus an extra $3, sometimes $4 a month, right? Now, when we talk about entry-level positions, you had people who maybe went from making $2,000 a month, actually working, to making $4,000 to $5,000 a month, not working. You might say, well, Diva, that should be the case. Everyone should have a livable wage. I agree 100%. Everyone should have a livable wage. But I also agree that, and I guess this is where the catch-22 comes in, we should be paid based on our skill set. Right? We should be paid based on our skill set. And with that being said, I firmly feel that teachers are underpaid. Teachers, you're underpaid. You're 100% underpaid. I feel teachers are underpaid. They control the minds of our youth in the future. Teachers are underpaid. So anyway, you got people who went from making probably $10 or $11 an hour, who are now making 15 and up. In theory, that's if they decide to go back to work, because, during the pandemic, we realized people weren't making fair and livable wages. But this is the thing. If the whole issue was raising minimum wage and giving people benefits, that's been done by a lot of companies. Why are there still help wanted signs? Asking for a friend. Why are there still help wanted signs? Why are there still employment shortages? And I'm going to tell you why. Because no one wants to work. It wasn't about the raise. Because now, if you worked somewhere before and you were making $10, you can pretty much get $15 anywhere now. 15 to even 20. And I'm talking entry level, no skill position. So if that's the case, why are there so many help wanted signs? Why are people still looking for work? Why are we still short staffed? And I will tell you why. Because people don't want to work. It's not about the money. They want to get paid to do nothing. They want to get paid to sit around. I was lecturing not really lecturing, having a discussion at Rutgers the other day, and I was at the business school, and I was talking to some of the students, and I made a joke, but serious, and I said, yo, your generation is different. Before you come into a job, you want to already know how many days you have off. You're going to tell me what's going on with your mental health. You want to know what the community like some of the things you want, I get, but you want to do all that. And when you get hired, you're telling me I take 2 weeks vacation at the end of every year to go do charity work in Brazil because it helps me with my chi. Like, y'all weird. Y'all don't want to work. You don't want to work. You can get money anywhere now. You don't want to work. What you want is to be paid executive and CEO salaries for doing nothing. That's what you want. You want to be paid high-ranking salaries for doing nothing. My first issue, the first thing I said when they said they were going to raise minimum wage, I was like, so wait a minute. And before I say, somebody was like, Diva, you're diminishing people's job. No, I'm addressing it for the level of skill, right, that is needed. So the guy who does the fries at McDonald's is going to make $15, $16, $17 an hour, right? Now, I personally think that's a lot for flipping fries. I don't think that's a $15, $16 an hour job. So if the McDonald's guy gets 15 and 16 for flipping fries, now what does your entry-level secretary make now? And what does your what does your cashier at Wawa make now? Like, what is the level? I'm just trying to understand, because there are certain things that require certain skills. I personally just don't think fry flipping is a $15 an hour job. I don't. It is what it is. I don't. There are certain jobs that require certain skills. Cashiers, things of that nature. These are all jobs that are necessary, and they help drive, the economy forward and how we do business, and how, they help with commerce and things like that. But let's be honest. Are you going to pay, say, your fry guy $30 an hour because that's, we're all in agreement that people need a livable wage? I don't think so. It's not a $30 an hour job unless you some master blaster fry cook from like Europe who uses a special duck factory. I don't know. So I guess it becomes an issue of, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? Having been on both sides of this equation, being an employee versus an owner, I just never put myself in a position where I had to rely on one thing. Now, some people may say, well, Diva, you should be able to just work, make a living, and have a great quality of life. You should, but not necessarily off one thing. So this is what's interesting to me. We have all these jobs available. Nobody wants to work. Everyone's complaining that they're underpaid, but a lot of the people who are underpaid do not have adequate skill sets. Now, if you have an adequate skill set and you're saying you're going in, you're underpaid, you can't find a job, maybe you're just not as good as you think you are in that space. Or maybe people don't recognize your greatness yet. I don't know. I'm not you. But we have to be realistic about the expectations of what we should be paid for what we do. And then I'll take it a step further and say, if you don't like that people are not paying you what you're worth, create your own path. Find your own way. Then you ain't got to worry about it. Instead of being upset that minimum wage is low. Now, maybe I have a incorrect understanding. I was always under the impression that minimum wage jobs were just entry level to get started. That was not meant to, they're not meant to be careers per se. And if you start at an entry level position, you should level up in some capacity in your company or place of work. So you're no longer making that entry level salary. So ideally, if I go to say work at McDonald's and I make $15 an hour for doing fries, eventually, if I'm going to be there forever, the goal is for me to maybe become an assistant manager or a store owner. Otherwise, it's just a transient position. So if it's a transient position, meaning you're just kind of going through in and out, why am I going to pay you 20 hours an hour in reference to a livable wage? That doesn't make sense to me, because you're not meant to stay there. You're meant to just do this particular job for a certain amount of time and go through. Like, is it just me? Because when I was younger and I used to work for Express. Yes, I was in retail. Go figure. I used to work at Express, and back then minimum wage was like, I don't even know. We were probably $6, $7 an hour. I don't know, something like that. But $6, $7 an hour. So if minimum wage was $6 and $7 an hour, like, that wasn't my forever job. And if I was going to be in retail and in sales, then the goal would have been to be an assistant manager or a store manager or like, I would have had different goals, but it was a job I was passing through. It wasn't about a livable wage. So maybe the issue here is we need to figure out how to get people more skilled so they can make the livable wage. Maybe we need to get people more skilled so they can make a livable wage. Because if you don't have a genuine skill set, it's going to be hard to make a livable wage. And then for those of us who do, it's probably super competitive in certain spaces. But that is life. I wish we could be in this utopia where we could help everybody, where we could give everybody everything, but that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. You know, people talk a lot about communism and things like that, because one of the things that is very common in the communist ideology is that everyone is equal, right? If you're a doctor, whatever you are, you're a doctor versus the fry guy versus, I don't know, a teacher. Everybody's making the same. They're making the same and have the same access. But when that happens in a work environment, why would you be motivated to do anything or be anything? So to me, when I hear people in our country complain about there are no jobs, you know, there's no livable wages, like, I'm not trying to hear it. I see opportunity. I see opportunity all around me. I see opportunity. And, you know, somebody's going to get pissed off and say I'm being insensitive to people's needs, but it's really not that. You only get what you work for. And there was an entitlement thing that was kind of happening before the pandemic. During the pandemic, everybody was given so much. Again, there are people who needed it, but a lot of people were just chilling and they got used to chilling. So now trying to get everybody back onto their grind and back into their work, they're like, no. Now, if you're one of those people who say, Diva, my mental health, I need to do this, and this, that's fine. But if you stepping away for, you know, quality of life, mental health, that may affect your income, because that's just how it works. So it's not about being insensitive to what you need to do for your quality of life or how you feel, but you got to realize you can't get paid for work you don't do. You can't. That's not how it works. Now, if you create something with passive income and you can just rock out, do it. Do it. But there's always a level of work required to reap financial rewards and stability, and it has to be done. And everybody keeps trying to skip this. I feel like I'm constantly talking about people doing the work, and, you know, it just doesn't go anywhere. So we come out of pandemic We got people with no skill set. We got young cats. They in high school like, $15. I don't want to do that. Well, what you want to do? Now, if you hustling online, you flipping crypto, you flipping NFTs, you working. I ain't mad at you. Then no, you don't need to go get a job. Keep day trading. You know what I mean? Stay on your grind. But there are a lot of people out here who are not working because they want more money, but they have no skill set. They just want more money. Please, I was at Wawa one day, and Wawa was like, yo, we're giving 15 and up plus 100. It was like a $500 signing bonus. A signing bonus for Wawa? That's crazy. And I love me some Wawa, but that's Wawa. Like, how much work are they doing to entice people to come back to the workplace? And from my understanding, Wawa has a great work environment. Just like freaking Starbucks has a great work environment. So if people aren't going to work at these places that have awesome work environments, pay and benefits, it ain't that. It's y'all. Y'all don't want to work. I would rather people just be honest and be like, Diva, I just want to sit home and do nothing. Because that's what everybody did for 2 years. Most people. A lot of people I knew, we was grinding, trying to figure out how to save our companies. But most people, that's what they did for 2 years. They ain't do nothing. So now you got to retrain the society, the culture to like get back to the grind. So I don't know when people are going to make that shift, but I'm here to tell you, y'all need to make that shift. And the other thing that got interesting, when the government cut the money off, people still was unmotivated. They was like, well, it ain't about the bag. It ain't about the money. People don't want to work. People don't want to work. They're unmotivated and they're lazy. People don't want to work. They are unmotivated right now and they're lazy. And this was even before the pandemic. This was before the pandemic. People were unmotivated and lazy. That's why I'm always talking about doing the work. Everybody wants something for nothing. Everybody wants things to just magically fucking happen, and it's not going to magically happen. There's a level of work that needs to be done day in and day out to reach your goals. The same amount of time and energy you put into scrolling on Instagram is the same amount of time you need to put into you. And again, if you're a person that during this time realized I need to step away from my job, it was toxic, it was overbearing, it didn't work for me, and you found peace and you found a way to provide for your family, that's the move. But there's a lot of y'all still ain't working. And I don't get it. And I feel that if the government gives it to you, it will help you, it will make you continue to be lazy. And you don't want to be in a space. And I'm going to tell you right now, and anybody who's ever lived in a communist country or a very controlling country will tell you, you do not want to get to a place where you get used to the government giving you everything and then they remove your motivation. Because then they own you. They own you at that point. And once they own you, it's a wrap. And you wake up one day and you realize you can't do anything without their permission. You don't want to be in that space. So I say all that to say to you, there's so much opportunity out here. I don't care if you want to be a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, chase that. Chase that. Get on your grind. And, I get annoyed because people always think, oh, all these wealthy people, they don't even work. Maybe not now because they got all these passive income streams, but there's work still happening. The definition of work is different from person to person. When I'm writing and preparing for lectures, that's work. That's my work. When people are outside cutting the grass and the landscaping company comes in, that's their work. Everybody's work is different. Everybody's work is different. But you don't ever want to be in a space where you're dependent on anyone. You want to always be in a space where you control the money you make, you control your destiny. And if you're unmotivated and you're lazy, because a lot of y'all just lazy. A lot of people are just flat out lazy. Y'all ain't trying hard enough. Or you try, you get defeated, and then it's like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. I'll do something else. You got a chance to do and change your life now. Right now. No excuses. None. Do the work. No excuses. Yo, I tell people day in and day out, it's about doing the work. The work varies depending on what you do, but the work never changes and it never goes away. And I don't care what you're doing, what you want to become, what you aspire to, you have to do some level of work. If you want change to happen, if you want to be successful, and if you want to win, the work goes nowhere. And you can't be afraid of the work. You have to confront the work. You have to own the work. You have to make the work your bitch. The work is a necessity. It goes nowhere. So stop trying to skip the work on your path to greatness. Please stop trying to skip the work day in and day out. Want to lose weight, but don't want to work. Literally, don't want to work out, don't want to eat right. You want to figure out where the shortcut is. Want financial freedom, don't want to do the work. Saving money, investing, increasing income. Want a happy marriage, happy relationship? Don't want to do the work though. Don't want to take the time to communicate and understand your partner. It's all these opportunities. It's all these places for you to do the work. Why? I tell you all the time, nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. And that's where that shift happens. But y'all keep trying to skip the work. Stop skipping the work. If something's not working out, assess what you're doing and do the work that's needed. So if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, and you're that unmotivated and lazy person, you're that person that's waiting, well, I'll just figure out my life until something better comes. If you're waiting, there's opportunity. If you're waiting, this is your moment. If you're waiting, stop waiting, because the time waits for no one. Most beautiful asset we have. Once it's gone, we cannot get it back. Stop thinking you're going to make time, because you're not. You're not. These are your moments. These are your opportunities. The moment we're in right now, this is your wake-up call. I'm telling you, I swear, I've been sent to this earth to get people going, to get them motivated, to get them pursuing their bigger goals and their higher self. I'm glad you're watching me on YouTube, Spotify, so wherever you're listening to the sound of my voice right now. But I'm going to tell you something. Once you get what you need, get off of here and get to work. So if you don't get nothing from me today, you need to know nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. Don't be that person that doesn't want to work. Don't be that person waiting for opportunity instead of creating it. Don't be that person. I want you to be the best version of yourself. I want you to find and connect with your higher self. And the only way you're going to do that is to buckle down, get in the trenches, and do the work. You can listen to any speaker, any guru you want. You never hear one of them say, it was so easy for me. Man, I just kind of fell into all of this. It was great. There is a level work due. There's a level of work that is due. Yo, y'all need to get on your grind. You need to get on your grind. Please stop being lazy. Stop being unmotivated. And if you're a person out there and you're like, I want a $20 an hour job, well, go find it. But until you get it, take the 15, get on your grind. You can still be working and still be making money till you find the next thing, the better thing. Stop sitting on your ass. Stop being lazy. Work. I get up at 3 a.m. not because I want to. I get up at 3 a.m. because there's so much work I need to get done. And if I don't get up early, I won't get my work done. I won't get what I need to get accomplished for myself and my business. Get after it. This is your wake-up call. This is your wake-up call. 6 months from now, don't listen to this and be like, I didn't really get after it, D. This is your wake-up call. Do the work. Do the work. Self-improvement books are great. They're awesome. But you got to do the work. You got to take action. If you're not taking action, nothing will change. Do the work. You want to grow? You want to be better? Do the work. I'm telling you, nobody wants to work nowadays. Everybody's waiting for the shortcut. They want the 30-day solution, but they don't learn nothing in the 30-day solution. The work is going to give you the skills to sustain what you need. Doing that work day in and day out is where the character is built. Doing that work day in and day out is going to sustain you. So when you get to your goal, you can keep it. You know how to manage it. You know how to maintain it. But if you skip all this shit right here in between, it's not going to happen. And then when you get to your goal, you ain't going to know what to do because you're not sure how you really got there. Look, man, I need y'all to do the work. Stop being lazy. Stop being unmotivated. There's greatness within you. You just ain't done the work yet. You haven't done the work yet. So you're not going to be able to see it or tap into it. Do the work. Man, all right. We done. I'm done yelling at y'all today. That don't mean I ain't going to yell tomorrow, but I'm done today. All right, fam. Thank you for tuning into the Do Work Podcast. And like we say on here every week, nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. If you haven't, make sure. If you haven't, make sure to go up to my website, Diva at divarichards.com. You can sign up for my online course, the Do Work Method. I'm telling you, it's life-changing. It will really help you get things in focus, get off your ass, and get it done. All right. So again, you're going to go over to divarichards.com. And that's where you will find my Do Work course. All right, family, get after it. Remember, nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the